Those who tell you that God would not allow evil don't really know what they're talking about. I'm serious, they have no idea. In her novel, No Graven Image, Elisabeth Elliot talks about a young girl named Margaret who goes to Ecuador to be a missionary and do translation of languages and a lot of medical work and medical help. While she's there, she does a lot of miraculous work, like help a breached baby come out alive. She does some wonderful stuff. Her ministry begins to grow. And then something happens that alters her life. She meets a man who ends up helping her ministry. But she goes out to visit him one day with his family. And while he's there, he has an infection in his leg, and she gives him some penicillin and some kind of medication. And then his body reacts negatively to it. And then he begins to convulse and shake. His whole family's around him saying, "You've killed him, you've killed him." She falls on her knees, Margaret, and begins to cry over God. She covers him with her hand on his head, and begins to pray, "God, without this man, I would not be able to do the work you're doing. God, do not let him suffer. How will his wife survive without him?" She begins to pray deeply over him. And you know what happens? He dies. All the work that she's doing in Ecuador, everything begins to dry up. Her life dries up within her as well. The novel ends with her standing over the grave of this man, saying, "God, are you there?" Elisabeth Elliot said that she got many letters telling her that this is not how God would treat his people, especially someone who's so dedicated. And Elliot says they have no idea what they're talking about, because Elliot's husband was killed, executed, along with a few other missionaries when he went out and did some work as well. And they were very faithful people to God. God allows suffering like this to happen. It is beyond our dreams, beyond our thought pattern of why he would allow this to happen. It is. It really is. But this is a hand that's pierced, and he weeps as we weep. Can we trust our Father through these difficult times? Can I trust him when I go through difficulty? I have to. Why? You know, C.S. Lewis talks about a story in his book, The Silver Chair. It's about a little girl named Jill who has been heard rumors about a lion in the forest called Aslan. And this lion is dangerous. So she begins to try to escape and get around through the forest. Anyway, while she's there, she begins to feel the depth of her thirst. And she starts making her way toward a stream of water, which she knows will quench her thirst to give her some life. But as she gets close to this water, she suddenly sees, standing there at the edge of the water, the lion. Lewis says it was like the lions in Tafkir Square. It was an amazing beast. And she tried to get away from it, but she realized that if she runs, it may chase her. So she's frozen. And then she hears a voice telling her, "You may drink." She didn't realize where the voice was coming from, and realized soon that it was from the lion, for he spoke. And then she begins to have this conversation with the lion. And she tells him, "If I come to drink, you may eat me. Matter of fact, do you even eat little girls like me?" And the lion responds, "Oh, I not only eat girls, I eat kings, princesses. I devour empires, I devour kingdoms." And the girl says to him, "So then there's no reassurance that you won't kill me if I get close." The lion is quiet. She says, "Then I'm not going to drink from the stream. I'm going to go find another one. Promise me you won't kill me if I get close." The lion says, "I do not make such a promise." She says, "I'm going to find another stream. I'm going to go somewhere else." The lion says, "There is no other stream." Lewis says that this lion, who he calls Aslan as a figure of Christ, is not safe. But as the beaver told us in the earlier book in Chronicles, but he is good. We can trust him. He is a good God. And guys, what other source do you have? There is no other stream. There is no other source where you can go to. When Peter was standing around Jesus and all the disciples were there, and many of them started to leave him after he started telling his stories and telling them that he would die and suffer, Jesus looked at the others, including Peter, and told them, "Will you leave as well?" And they responded. Peter said, "Lord, you have the words of life. Where can we go?" And he has the words of life. He has the bread of life. And he is a good God. Trust him through the darkness of your suffering as you stand over the grave of those you love, as you go through the deepest, darkest periods. For in it all, he is making something glorious. He is making something glorious. Let's trust him through it and see where it will lead.